Hi everyone, I'm Loreen, and this is my presentation on intersectional feminism versus white feminism. This project is based on the activism of Rachel Cargle. If you don't know or haven't heard of Rachel Cargle, she is an activist, academic lecturer, and author focusing her work on the issues and racial injustices within feminism. She is seen in this picture holding the pink sign saying, "If you don't fight for all women, you fight for no women." And her friend, Dana Suchow, holding the sign saying, "Protect Black, Asian, Muslim, Latinx, disabled, trans, fat, poor women." This photo was taken during the Women's March in Washington, D.C. in 2017, which later went viral and still revolves around social media today. The main drive for Rachel Cargle is to teach others about intersectional feminism and to expose the problems within traditional feminism. This goes beyond the feminism we are used to seeing in the media. One of the main goals within intersectional feminism is to expose the racial injustices and disadvantages of women of color in traditional feminist movements. According to Mass Now, intersectional feminism is the interconnected identities such as race, class, and sexual orientation, and how they impact female identifying individuals through their experiences dealing with oppression and discrimination. Intersectional feminism does not focus on the idea of single issue struggles. It deals with more than just gender. It includes and brings importance to the issues women face with race, class, sexuality, age, ability, or culture, among many other issues. It brings a statement that if your feminism doesn't support all women, it doesn't support women at all. Seen in this comic, it says if your feminism isn't fat positive, anti-racist, trans-inclusive, pro-choice, challenging ableism, or against classism, then who's it even for? Making it clear that intersectional feminism goes beyond gender issues in society. It focuses on many other struggles women may face. Through intersectional feminism, we see the value, importance, and intersection of race and gender within the women's movement. We may all be familiar with this idea of intersectionality through the lessons in our women's studies class. According to Rachel, after her photo went viral, she did her part and strived to learn and research more about the current stance of traditional feminism. And as she became more aware of intersectional feminism, she made it one of her main goals to spread awareness. She mentions in an NBC interview that if she wasn't fully aware of the racism within the feminist movement, then others may also be in the same position. Most importantly, many white women, who she mentions, may have been part of the harm that was happening to people of color. Unpacking white feminism is much more than just a public engagement and speaking platform for Rachel. It's a spreading of awareness of intersectionality, and it allows women to understand white feminism and how it affects women of color. In her article, When Feminism is White Supremacy in Heels, she explains that as many white women claim to be feminists, they only seem as if they are under a disguise to support women as long as it's comfortable. Hashtag feminist, hashtag fight for all women, hashtag women empowerment, they may say, but in many cases refuse to deal with the hard truths of discrimination against women of color and people of color in general. She further explains the idea of white fragility dealing with race, where many white feminists may seem uncomfortable, offended, or discouraged to speak about or fight against different issues people of color may face. This may also be seen in the dismissing of the many voices of women of color, especially Black women. This introduces the idea of white guilt and white savior complex, where many white feminists either support movements because they are driven by guilt, or they seem as if they provide women of color a saving grace to be their voice, diminishing theirs. Rachel instead promotes the idea of allyship, which essentially means to accept the reality of the country's dynamics and to use their privilege to fight with and for those who are marginalized. Some examples would be voting for officials that ensure the marginalized are heard and advocated for, using sphere of influence to call out racism when they see or hear it, and ultimately uplifting people of color so they are no longer continuously ignored. In the last portion of Rachel's article, she mentions that in order for the feminist movement to be truly progressive and intersectional, white women must realize the issue between race and gender and begin to take their load of work. If it's not intentionally and aggressively addressed, racism will defeat all women in the end. In all aspects, feminists seek to fight against inequality and discrimination in society, but if it's not for all people but white people, then is it really feminism? In conclusion, white feminism seeks to support the advantages of equality, but doesn't really address or include race, class, or sexuality. But intersectional feminism incorporates all aspects and issues of womanhood into their fight for equality, change, and advancements of all people.